Step by step, the clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FPL season review. My name is Ryan and I'm joined by Karan. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing good. The quicker we can move on from the season, the better.
Fair enough. So before we look into the season review, I just want to shout out to all those who took part in the mini league, the Football Chatbox mini league. We had 3 players, the top 3, in the top 10k, so which is an improvement over last season. So definitely shout out to everyone, to Sihab, Luke, Mike, Simon, Davo, Sander, Mark, James again, Amit, and then obviously further down below we had a few other managers as well. So shout out to everyone who ended up in the top 10 and obviously anywhere else in the league as well. And if you had a good season or a bad season, it doesn't matter because the season is now over. And I'm just going to quickly talk about. Go ahead.
What's the rank of the guy who came first?
The rank of the
there's a
guy
bit
who
of
came first,
Delay. What's the rank of the person who came first? See how?
1570.
Yeah. Overall.
Yeah, that was overall 1570.
Oh wow,
Oh no, you're breaking up.
crazy.
You're slightly breaking up, but hopefully
Yeah,
that's not
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good season from him. And then obviously the other two, Luke and Mike as well. Mike, I think Mike and Luke, where did they end up with? Let me see. I think these were the 3 managers in the top 10k. Mike was in 5-1, so almost 5,100. And then Luke was 2,962. Pretty good seasons from all 3 managers, to be honest. And then everyone else also pretty good fight from everyone else. But we're here to talk about season reviews, and we're going to be using FPL optimized for that. So this is the panel team I've got up for the moment. Panel team kind of beat us all. It was supposed to be a differential team. It had Haaland, Kane, Saka, Mitoma, Fernandes, Martinelli, Rashford, Trippier, Estupinan, Gabriel, and Kepa as the main 11 overall from points generated, with Tony, Trent, Cancelo, interestingly, and Rhea in there as well. We captained Haaland 22 times, Kane twice, Saka twice, Rashford 4 times, and Tony once.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was the panel team. That's how it went. In terms of hits, it took a -20 in total for hits. So we basically 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 hits, and we only took one -8 from the panel team. Because there were weeks that we completely forgot to do transfers as well on this panel team. Funnily enough,
It's crazy. It's crazy how well this team did,
I know.
especially during the middle part of the season.
Yeah. Captaincy got about 67.39 correct. Clean sheets 34, goals 33. Now you'll see when we compare ours as well, it's very similar, like all of us.
Yeah.
We're just missing out in certain sections. And then obviously gains and losses, I feel like it's decent. It hasn't had any seriously big losses in the same weeks. It's had big gains as well, if that makes sense. Which is why it's managed to keep like pretty consistent. Every time you see big losses, it's because it was. Go ahead.
Sorry, Ryan. There's a little bit of a delay.
Okay.
I was going to say that in the middle, when we were trying to take risks with this team, we did really well. And
Yes.
then after that, when we were really leading the league,
Yep.
I think we.
Oh no, I lost you.
Um,
I have lost you again.
so I'm gonna try to switch.
Okay. All right. So while we wait for Karan to be back, Easy Shark, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Um. So yeah, I mean, I think I agree what you were saying. When we were trying to be differential in the middle, we are doing pretty well. And then
Yeah.
when we tried to be safe, I guess we dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We didn't really drop. We just didn't. We just stopped doing as well. We stopped climbing as well.
we didn't climb in when we needed to climb. Yeah, fair enough. We didn't take enough risk at the end, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So this panel team to me is like a really interesting. I don't know. I guess
Experiment.
lesson in
Yeah,
experiment. Really. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, that's how the panel team went. And in terms of variance, I mean, compared to what it was predicted to, it was supposed to be minus 40 in terms of like compared to the prime. So it's significantly outperformed.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, that is actually
That's
pretty
a
huge in terms of
wait,
difference.
that's a swing of 100. So we did 120 points above expected value.
Yeah, kinda.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah,
That's a lot.
exactly. So that's actually pretty good in terms of the penalty team and the way we went. I guess it kind of explains the whole entire season, right? It's been a season of like differentials and
High variance.
yeah, exactly. So this panel team kind of sums it up in terms of how it went. So this was the panel team. This is my team. This one. With Kepa, Trippier, Estupinan, Shaw, Salah, Rashford, Martinelli, Saka, Mitoma, Haaland, Kane, Rea, Wilson, White, and Cancelo. Now the difference between this and the panel team was I had 7 captain Salahs, which
the captaincy seems a lot more spread out.
Yeah. Obviously, there were a few points where it was huge swings, which game week 9 being in particular as well, where I captained Salah and then Haaland went and destroyed United.
Yep. That happened to me too.
Yeah, but the rest, I guess, kind of seems okay. From if I was to go and look at one thing that I did do well though this season, but in hits I took minus 60 in terms of hits. One thing I did well this season was captaincy.
Oh, right. Almost 80%.
Yeah. So I think I got only a few calls wrong where I didn't return in terms of this thing, but 80% is significantly like pretty high. So I was checking in Premier Fantasy Tools, which is another FPL tool, and I think I don't know if they track captaincies or whatever, like from all the managers or not. I don't know how it works. But I was in like the top 100 for captaincies, for points secured.
Oh, wow.
So I felt like captaincy.
So what was your sort of methodology this season? Did you look at it? Did you just look at the expected points models? Did you go off gut feel?
Expected points a bit, but because I was chasing most of the time, it was mostly more of like gut feel and deciding when to take risk and when not to take risk. In the captaincy, which was a good week to take risk. Like if Haaland had a tough game, then I was like, if there was another captaincy who felt like they could deliver, I was willing to bet against it. But at the start, obviously, I felt like didn't cap Haaland enough, and there were a few weeks there because of that. My demise started very early, but they managed to claw it back after with like, I think it helped in terms of double game weeks as well because there were doubles where City weren't doubling always. So in those specific cases, it was easy to like captain others. That was probably the reason. But I managed to get, I think, a decent amount from captaincy. The place I lost was compared to like you guys even. Bonus was at 24%, and I think clean sheets for me was low. Clean sheets here, 32%. I think the others, you guys have significantly higher clean sheets, if I'm not mistaken. So even if the panel team, if I was to compare, oops. Where's the panel team? Yeah. The panel team had 34% clean sheet, 33% goal, 26% in bonus. Like accrued a lot more bonus. Whereas my clean sheet was 32 and 24 in bonus. So I guess that's kind of what for me that's where it lost.
I mean, I guess we already know this, but it's worth reiterating that getting captaincy right is such a huge part of this game.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
that's what. So,
like people that pick the right captain almost always do well.
Yeah, exactly. So
even if the rest of your team is structural issues.
So captaincy definitely is still a huge part in terms of the game. And shout out to everyone in the chat as well, to Rokugu, Rohan. So well done. Final game week with 75 points, gain captain. Kivio, he had Kivio in his team in the final game week. Finished at the good overall for
he scored, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
what a punt. What a good punt.
I know, right? Easy Shark as well, and Simonal as well. Simonal predicted Newcastle playing Champions League earlier in the season, so well done on that as well.
Okay, that's crazy. How early in the season? Because
he tweeted, I'll find it again, but it was pretty decently early in the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But yeah, well done on that as well. Now, this was, I think, Roy's, but before we go to Roy's, let's go to yours. I think this is yours. Is this your ID? No, wait, this is yours. 1389 128.
Okay, yeah, this looks right.
Yep.
A lot of weird captaincies.
You had Rhea, Trippier, Estupinian, Trent, Rashford, Salah. You captained Salah 9 times compared to my 7.
Yeah, that punished me. I captained Salah at all the wrong times when Alan did well.
Then you had Martinelli, Odegaard, McAllister, Tony, and Haaland, along with Watkins, Robertson, Dalot, and Kepa. So I guess one thing that kind of differentiates is the Wilson captaincy.
But I thought I captained Wilson as well. Maybe, wait, is this my 1389 128, right?
Yes.
Like I definitely captained Wilson.
Okay. So maybe you didn't have him for long enough in your team, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
That's
no, I only had him for the last few
games. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, that's why it's not appeared here. I think you had Watkins.
Yeah, because those numbers don't add up to the number of game weeks.
Yeah.
Like 2 + 9.
No, it doesn't. This is not. This is just like who got you the most points in each of the spots.
Sure.
Yeah. So I guess you had Tony longer.
I had a couple of random Tony captaincies. I can't remember.
2 Tony captaincies. Yeah. Something I should have probably mentioned, or something we should have seen, is the gain and loss from players. So you gained from Rhea, Odegaard, McAllister, Wilson. Yeah, you gained from Wilson, the captaincy. Robertson.
Yeah.
How do we do this? Yeah. Stupid and Dalot, March. So you gained from some of those. The players you lost from, though, Martinelli was the main one you lost from. I think you missed out in his certain spots.
I was part of the people that sold Martinelli post World Cup.
Yes, same.
So I had him for the start of the season.
Yeah,
everyone did. And then I think it split into people that sold Martinelli and held on to him.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
I did the worst of both worlds, where I held on to him. It seemed like he was sort of not getting in those right positions.
Yes.
I sold him, and then they
sort
of maybe changed the way they played, and he was.
Yeah.
It felt like he was on the end of everything.
Yep.
And then I just prioritized other transfers, and he kept scoring.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. Then Kane, I guess a lot of us...
not having Kane towards the end of the season.
Yeah, a lot of us had were without Kane at points because of the doubles and everything. Salah, Mitoma, I guess. So I guess you missed that initial spark of Mitoma.
I went for March and McAllister over Mitoma.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess that would have paid off somewhat around the same.
It could be perhaps break even because McAllister got me some points.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just that whole thing of every time I watched them, Mitoma looked really threatening.
Yeah.
But then all the expected points and the shots that they take sort of favored March and McAllister. So
fair enough. And then obviously Cancelo, which was at the start, Fernandes, Trent, and Shaw. Those are the main ones. If you were to look at your hits, you took 56 hits. Almost on the same point as me as well.
Okay. That's what I thought.
In terms of clean sheets, you had 31 clean sheet, 34% in terms of goals. I feel like if you hit 34 somewhere around this one in the success ratio, it's pretty decent. So your goals you're getting. Clean sheets, you were a bit low, 31. Assist 23, bonus 25. Bonus, I think 25 is pretty decent. Captaincy, again, I guess that's where the difference is. Captaincy is
for sure.
63.
Like, just like a 10% improvement in that is
significant.
Probably like 70, 80 more points.
Yeah, exactly. So this is basically the rate of non-blanking. So 7+ points captain returns. So
it's considered a blank if it's less than a 7-point captain.
Yeah. So basically,
so is that 7 points after it's been doubled or before?
I think it's after it's been doubled. So if Haaland was to captain and get you another 2 points, that's 4, right? So he needs to get you more than an assist, basically. Minimum.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
So yeah, 63.8, basically like that. Or like if it was a midfielder, 3 points, double, 6 points, no return.
Yeah.
So that was yours. In terms of variance, you should have. I felt like your predicted, it just went completely under.
But I mean, it's not that good. So I'm minus 80. Yeah, okay. So I'm 60 points under predicted.
Yeah. So you had
it's not a huge amount.
No, but you've had a slice of bad luck, I would say.
Yeah, but what's right? So the blue and the yellow line. The blue is how I actually did, and the yellow is how I should have done. Right?
The blue is how you actually ended up doing. The yellow is, I think, it compares you to a series of managers.
Okay.
And how you were predicted to do compared to those managers.
Right. So is that what the baseline is?
I think
is
so.
That what the zero is?
It is the same.
Yeah.
Any outcome after the prediction is measured as a skill, and remaining difference above or below is measured as luck. So your skill should have kind of got you around this area, whereas the luck or basically the variance defines the rest.
Right. Okay.
So if you go above, you got positive. If you go below, you got negative variance. Basically, stuff like that.
This is a really high variance game.
I know.
I appreciate that the more I play.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly. Fair enough.
Like there's no better feeling than getting off a good captaincy or something.
That's true. So that was yours. This was, I think, Abin's, if I'm not mistaken. He had Kepa, Trippier, Trent, Cancelo, Salah, Rashford, Martinelli, De Bruyne, Tony, Kane, Haaland, Rhea, Estupinan, Mitoma, and Shaw. Interestingly, Abin captained Salah 15 times. He had a strong
Is this Rush?
This is Abin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I guess Salah 15 times. Had a strong urgency of captaining Salah. I need to speak to Abin about this.
Look, anyone who's played the last 3-4 seasons is going to have that bias that I guess Ibn and me both had.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just I found like a lot of game weeks, even after it looked like Haaland was a really good signing.
Yeah,
it felt like I was I was trying to find reasons not to captain Salah.
Yeah,
it's just my bias, because I was just and then you look at the way Liverpool actually play. Yeah, and then by the end of the season, it became pretty obvious that Salah's more of a winger. Like rather than the sort of inside forward kind of role that he was playing.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Because they hadn't really worked out how they wanted to play.
No, they hadn't.
At the start of the season, sometimes Salah would come inside, and then some games he would stay wide, and then by the end of the season, it was.
I guess that'll be interesting to notice for preseason next time when Liverpool, how they line up in preseason, whether Salah is still this like winger or whether he's actually like gone back to this inside forward, because that will justify whether it's worth going for him or not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a longer chat about how teams are going to line up next season, because I can't wait for next season, honestly. And I watched the Above Average podcast this morning.
Yep.
And I think Baker mentioned how more teams are transitioning to that 3-2-4-1.
Yeah.
That City and Arsenal both played in some phases of the game.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because that whole thing relies on wingers staying wide and stretching the pitch.
Yep.
And it looks like Liverpool also played a bit of that towards the end of the season.
With Trent that inside
to midfield.
Yeah. So
and now, if United sign Mount, it's possible that one of Shaw or Dalot would do the same thing, and then
probably you never know. It's a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, people asking just where to find this. I will add the link to this as well, just at the end of it. But continue.
You can put it in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Too, right?
Okay, so I'll put this in the link in the chat for those who want to actually check this out. FPL optimized. But yeah, go ahead. What were you saying? Continue.
No, I just thought that was a really interesting point because it does really seem like Pep has dragged the football meta in that direction, and yeah. Anyway,
it makes
we might
Trent
find ourselves
interesting.
having a lot of strikers and less,
Yeah,
goal-scoring wingers in our midfield.
Yeah. It does make the Trent as an interesting option next season, though, if he continues to play this spot.
Yeah, I thought Trent. Yeah, it's a tough one because it almost seems like Trent has more end product when he gets in as a wing back.
Okay, fair enough.
Whereas this is, I mean, he always has BPS.
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah,
now he'll just have a lot of pass completion.
Yeah,
passes attempted. So,
but they still don't keep clean sheets. That's the problem.
No, they don't look defensively solid at all.
Yeah, we'll see what.
They kept a run of clean sheets toward the end, but like it's
if
you watch the games,
they're linked with McAllister, so I don't know whether that changes things.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Scrolling down. So now Abin took 36 in terms of hits, including a -12 at one point in game week 34. Now, usually Abin has been pretty solid in terms of captaincies, but this time I think he was a bit off 65% in terms of captaincy. So that was a bit of a low point. Clean sheets 34, which is pretty good.
Do we know what the top 10k average is for captaincy?
What, the success ratio?
That captaincy percentage,
captaincy percentage.
No, sorry. Why don't you keep running it? I'll have a look for that.
You go and check and see. Cause I don't know where to find that exactly top 10k, but that's actually pretty interesting. Because
I'm sure someone would have done it somewhere, right?
I mean, we can compare this with world number 1 if you want to.
It's okay. I'll find it.
Okay.
I'll find it.
So while you're looking at that, captaincy, I think Abin fell quite a bit. But if you were to look at variance, his start was poor, but his end was strong. So he started off pretty poorly under what he was supposed to predict. But at the end of it, he managed to go, what is this, plus 35 over? Or plus 30 maybe? Plus 30 over is predicted. So I think that's kind of okay overall when you look at it. Although his total value, his luck is still at like negative. I don't understand how exactly that works. The total luck being negative.
No, that's just game week 38.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So click the button that says show. Yeah, try that.
Oh yes.
There we go.
That's just game week 38. Right. Yep. Fair enough. My bad. Total luck here we got 93.5. Ooh. Oh, that's game week 38 as well. No, never mind. But he ended up, I guess plus 35 isn't too bad. But when you compare it to like the top players, it's just insane. They're like in the plus 100s, 200s, 300s. If you look at it
this is a game of skill and luck, right?
Yeah, exactly. So obviously things make a difference. So that was Abin's, and then we go to, this was Roshant. He had Kepa, Trippier, Cancelo, White, Trent, Salah, Rashford, Martinelli, Saka, Tony. He gained a lot from Tony, 130 points from Tony. Haaland,
he must have captained him. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
He captained him for the 17 point.
Oh, yes. That makes sense. Yes. That was, I think, one of his highlights of the season.
I remember that actually.
Then Haaland, he got 410 points from Haaland. I think that was higher than all of us, if I'm not mistaken. 410 points.
He probably hit all the right captaincy things.
Yeah.
Wow, he did badly on the luck thing as well.
Yeah. Oh no,
that was me.
Roy managed to. Oh no, I have to beat him. Okay, 14 is pretty high. So if you have 400 above, it's pretty good. Haaland. Kane captaincy twice, Dunk and Mitoma and Steele was his. In terms of losses, he lost mainly from Kane, which I guess a lot of us did lose from Kane. Fernandes and De Bruyne were interestingly in his losses, along with Estupinan. Fernandes, De Bruyne, Estupinan, and Shaw. Now,
yes, I know why, because he had Steele instead of Estupinan.
Yeah, and he had Dalot instead of Shaw. and they both backfired. Oh, Dalot backfired instead of Shaw because Dalot lost his place after a point.
Yeah.
And then De Bruyne just didn't fire at all as well when he got him in after. Fernandes, I think he got Fernandes for like 1 week or something and then dropped him in the last week as well. That kind of backfired as well. But his gains were basically from Salah, Tony, Ben White. I think he had Ben White for a long time, managed to get on his gains as well.
He probably had Ben White during that spate of assists.
Where he was not clean sheets but still returning. Yes, he had him. Dunk, Trippier, Heung-min Son, Enciso. Yeah, I think that was a shrewd. Yeah. So very interesting.
Son, Rashad probably played the most left field out of all of us.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So he had some very interesting picks. In terms of hits, he took minus 36. In terms of clean sheets, 32. Goals. Now, he got a lot of goals compared to the rest of us. 35%.
Yeah.
Assist 20. Assist was low, though, compared to the rest of us. Bonus 26, which is high. Captaincy, 71%. That's also pretty good.
That's pretty good. I wasn't able to find the top 10k average.
Okay.
In a few places,
we can compare if you want with like world number 1 if needed, but yeah.
I mean that'll just be an outlier.
Significantly, yeah. He on the other hand, Rushan on the other hand, never went under his predicted. Interestingly. If anything,
tell him to buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, if anything, he's predicted. What is it? He ended up at 45 plus 45, and then 40 is he predicted. So he ended about 80 points above, which is pretty good, I guess. Which is not too bad. Very close to top 100k as well. So pretty good. Pretty good end. And then that's the main ones. And then this is Roy, who 200 points from Salah, Rashford, Martinelli, Mitoma, Saka, Gabriel Jesus. Roy had most of his Arsenal players in there. Haaland, Trippier, Cancelo, Estupinan, Kepa, Kane.
I feel like this is a good FPL season for Arsenal fans, right?
Trent, Robertson, Steele. Roy had a lot of the Liverpool defense as well, double Liverpool defense. In terms of losses, he lost from Kane quite a bit. Felt like that kind of needed to change. I don't know where he'll change from Arsenal's point of view, from Spurs bias. Saka, he lost
maybe
from Saka.
Kane goes to United, Roy can have more Kane.
Yeah,
maybe if Kane goes to United, Roy can.
Maybe I don't know. He lost from Saka, Watkins, De Bruyne, McAllister, March. I guess that doesn't matter because he had Steele and Estupinan because of that. And then you got Trent. In terms of gains, Martinelli, Mitoma, gained a lot from Mitoma. Fernandes, Wilson, Steele, Son, Robertson, and Gabriel. Hits, minus 32. Captaincy still pretty good, 73%. And
your one's 80, right? That's
my one.
The highest. That's clearly the highest.
Yeah, my one was, where was it? My one was 78.7. Yeah. So mine was the highest for captaincy. Bonus 25, assist 23, goals 34, and clean sheets 32. And then obviously his variance went below only a bit at the start of the season. And then after that, everything has just been positive variance.
Well.
So I think
must be nice.
Yeah, Roy and Rush had like a consistent season. I felt like the two of us had like roller coaster seasons of like going up, going down, going up, going down.
I feel like I played this season in many ways like I played last season, which was I listened to the expected points models a lot.
Yeah.
And this, and the results sort of back that up, which is that I picked things at high expected value things, and then the variance put me a little bit under.
Okay.
And I wonder if there's like some structural issue with the way they all measure expected points or something, or they're pretty. But I mean, it is just one season's worth of sample size.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so if we were to think about it, right?
But at the end of the day, like it's only 60 or 70 points.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a huge amount.
Not a huge margin.
Either way, yeah.
So that's basically it. Like, if you were to like go for, let's talk just generally highlights.
Yep.
What were your like highlights for the season?
The Callum Wilson captaincy was up there.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
The one that we both got right.
Yep.
I think I had a good a McAllister double game week captaincy that paid off.
Yep.
I think I value when I think what's most satisfying for me is when I make a punt that's based on the eye test.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that's far more satisfying and like sort of strokes my own ego a lot more than looking at a points model and I'm like, I just made a good decision or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so much better when you watch a game and you're like, oh, he looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
And I had that moment with McAllister and I had that moment with Wilson.
Okay. Yep. Wilson was definitely he was the less minutes but high XG. We knew when he's on the pitch he'll do well kind of thing.
If you watched him play, he was just like hanging around in the box waiting to poke it in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, Wilson definitely. I think NCCU, I got him on my free hit in 34. Yeah. For me, I think the free hit was like where my season kind of changed in 34. The NCCU part. I went like full on differential. And it kind of paid off in some way.
Yeah, nice. I think if I had the transfers, I probably would have liked to hold NCCU. He looked really good.
Yeah, that's what. I think next season will be very interesting. He'll probably go to a midfielder or something. So it would be an interesting option.
We should pick like, maybe like, we don't have all day, I suppose, but maybe let's pick like 5 or 6 of the most FPL interesting teams for next season and chat about it after this.
Okay. Yeah. So you mean as a separate video? Oh
no, I just meant like
on this stream.
If we have time.
Okay. Yeah. So apart from that, the highs, it was a season of roller coaster rides more than anything. I felt like one thing I did notice is somewhere in the middle of the season, I did notice that on FPL review you have like that pie chart. Where it shows you like your XG data, massive XG data, and then X minutes risk and all of that. I felt like my minutes risk was high. So I kind of changed that to try and get more players who were playing more minutes, more guaranteed minutes. And I also switched it to try and I loaded up more on the doubles whenever possible. So like more players, more minutes, more points kind of situation. That's kind of what I went with. But yeah, I don't know. It was a very odd season.
So who was why? Because you had like Wilson and NCs or players that hadn't yet cemented their spot.
So the way I approached it, I was like, okay, try and improve rank. The other was going differential compared to the crowd. And I guess the one advantage you have is like where the crowd is going. Like when everyone for the double game week 36, right? We're going Isaac mainly, right? And then Wilson was like the alternative, very differential and paid off definitely. With a slice of luck because like even that one part where it was about to come off and then they got a penalty and he takes it.
Of course, yeah. There's so many sources of luck in this game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So you get, and I mean, after that double, the difference between Captain and Wilson and Captain and Isak was so huge that you wouldn't have thought something would happen like that.
Who was? I think people that had RK or something, and they'd already put the sign up to take him off.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they put the sign up to take him off, and there wasn't a stoppage in play, and City conceded, and everyone on Twitter was like raging.
I remember.
So so many little moments like that.
Exactly, and then who this one? March. He scored a goal. It got given to him, then got taken off, and then got given back to him, but it was too late because the deadline had already passed. So people lost points on that. So I was like one of that who lost March points. I captain Mitoma that week, but still lost March points. Isaac, he made this amazing solo run and then missed out on an assist for that because of the intended target not being anyone there. There's a question from Simon that you're answering with regards to winners. Winners do get their prizes, yes. You just have to check on it on the FPL site.
So this year's winners, he's quite active on Twitter. So
yeah, FPL Guns.
He's already appeared on quite a few podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys want to check, he's on Twitter as well. But yeah, they do get their prizes. So yeah, that's basically.
What is the prize?
You get two tickets, I think, to match day games, right? And I think you get flights and accommodations if you're abroad.
Oh, okay.
For the games.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's not too bad. You get to pick 2 games. But the thing is, what I've heard is picking those games are not easy. Like, they come back with telling you mainly that there aren't tickets available or something like that. It's very hard to get the games.
You win a game with 12 million people in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And add to that, you're trying to go for certain games where a lot of season ticket holders already have tickets for that and everything, so they kind of have to find. It's not easy, but yeah.
The Premier League know that you play, even if there's no prize.
Yeah, exactly. They don't really care.
They don't really give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so interesting season come to an end. If you could change something this season, or how do you put it? Let's say if there were any, what would like you think the mistakes that you probably wish you didn't do, or you try to avoid next season?
Well, let me answer that separately. I think one of the biggest mistakes I made was not updating my assumptions from last season quickly enough. I watched quite a few Arsenal games toward the end of last season, and in some games they looked defensively pretty organized, especially against the lower half teams. And I had quite a few. I think I had Arsenal defenders toward the end of last season, and it did quite well for me. And my sort of assumption of how they played was that they would struggle to break down teams that park the bus, but they might be defensively resilient. And then so for me, I never thought it was that sustainable that Arsenal would just keep scoring as many goals as it did at the start of the season. So it took me maybe 7 or 8 game weeks at least to be convinced that owning double Arsenal attack is the way to go. I know that was the narrative in preseason, but I was heavily, maybe I thought I was.
Fair enough. For me, with Arsenal, I rotated way too much in Arsenal assets. I went to White, I went to Gabriel, I went from Saka to Martinelli, I went from Martinelli to Odegaard. Like, I went to Gabriel Jesus, I went to Nketiah, and then Nketiah just didn't do anything after a point. So I think I just went on a huge, I had the same thing as you, where I had Saka and Martinelli just before the World Cup, and they did nothing. And then obviously on the World Cup refresh, we got that free wild card, and I took them both out, and they went and then continued to perform. I got Martinelli back in time, but I didn't get Saka back in time, stuff like that. And then once I went for Martinelli, then I went back to Odegaard, and it's just a complete chaos. And then
I mean, they scored 88 goals.
Yeah, that's
this season, and none of their assets were expensive. And their rotation was really low, and all those goals and assists came from the same 4 or 5 players at most.
Yeah, that's the thing.
City scored 94 goals, but other than Haaland, where did all the goals come from? So
that's the thing.
It's I think it is rare that you have FPL assets that are such good value, and when that shows up, you need to jump on it straight away. And one of the big mistakes I made was not jumping on it quick enough.
My mistake was jumping around them too much. Instead of sticking to a few players and just seeing how things went.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you just had them, it's fine.
Fair enough. But the thing is,
Odegaard and Saka.
But when I was jumping around too much, it was the others who were getting the points. So I was wasting transfers and not getting points as well, which is the problem.
I had that feeling.
The
other thing was Spurs are shit, but Harry Kane's amazing.
Should have just kept Kane. He was ticking.
I mean, not just sticking, he was like absolutely banging it in towards the end of the season.
Exactly.
And every time I watch them play, I'm like, this is such a shit team.
Yeah.
I just never,
Yeah,
but sometimes talisman, I guess the lesson is that talismanic players, even in shit teams, can be good FPL assets.
Yeah, fair enough. The other thing for me was the bench boost chip. It was completely garbage for me. I got 1 pointers, 2 pointers. So I bench boosted in 28, where I had like very bad bench. Like I think I got 9 points or something from my bench, which is a very standard that you get usually every week from your bench. The week before, I had a Gabriel 14 pointer on my bench. So I feel like bench boost is a chip that I need to think about next season as to like, I'd rather play it in a week where I think I'm going to have, instead of forcing myself to play it in doubles, because I played it in doubles where the bench wasn't, like the fixtures weren't great for the bench. I should have just instead played it where fixtures were good for my bench, regardless of whether they had doubles or not.
Yeah.
So that's something for me to consider. And then both my wildcards I played, and both my wildcards, it went downhill. I don't know what to say about that as well. So, but yeah, few things in terms of chips as well. Maybe playing it a bit better next time.
I was between 3 and 4 and 5 million for
you managed to catch up significantly.
The worst. Yeah, so the chips are what helped me. So the post World Cup chip strategy.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, fair enough.
Dug me out of the hole a little
bit.
So I was pretty happy with my bench boost.
Yeah, true.
That was good.
Fair enough. The fresh chip did help to remove a lot of frauds from the team. That was for sure.
Yeah.
Because my second part of the season was much significantly better compared to my first. I was looking back at it. I had, I think, 5 or something green arrows in the first half of the season, and about 10 reds, compared to the second half where I had about 15 greens or something and like about 7 reds. So it's like completely huge difference. And then Zizo is saying on the chat, on my bench boost, I gambled on Haaland starting instead of switching him to Watkins. Haaland 0 points, Watkins 17 points. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a pretty key differential point.
So yeah,
everyone it was really split into 2 camps. People that thought you were crazy to get rid of Haaland, and people that thought it was okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one thing.
It could have gone either way.
Like once you get to this is happening for the second season now, where this whole perma cap narrative happens. Like last season also Salah perma cap, and then after a point, people get scared to switch away from the perma cap, even when the perma cap is no longer performing Haaland was still performing, but like there were better options on other places. And like Salah as well.
He just didn't double.
Yeah, exactly. Salah as well post AFCON. People were still captaining Salah out of the fear of like what Salah was capable of, but his numbers did drop. So that's something that was an interesting narrative as well that I noticed, which kind of helped in terms of when you were chasing. If you want to go against the grain, it did help in chasing and catching down leads, to be honest. Yeah, that's the thing.
Let's see what they do with the pricing. I don't think they'll.
Yeah, we'll see.
With it, but
we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's basically all that I had for today. What do you think? Next season, few predictions. What do you think? Like pricing wise, not even pricing wise. Are there any teams that interest you?
Yeah, let's go like high level, right? Like what teams do you think are likely to have the good FPL assets?
I think from a price point of view, Arsenal.
Yeah, let's take turns. You go.
Yeah, Arsenal, and I feel like Arsenal and United are definitely going to get higher pricing. So their players are not going to be options. But I feel like Chelsea could be a team that will be very interesting. Maybe cheaper pricing for them. They could be this year's Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Pochettino is famed for not rotating. So if he finds his starting 11 and they click, then
yeah.
I don't think they'll be as good as this year's Arsenal. Like this year's Arsenal scored 88 goals.
Yeah, fair enough. Probably not as
pretty
good.
Crazy.
But from a price point of view, they could be very tempting offers.
I mean, I fall for this trap every year, but if Reece James doesn't get injured.
Well, we all fall for that trap, don't worry.
Who was that Chelsea left back? towards the end of the season.
Not Cucurella. Chilwell.
No. God, what's his name? They had some youth player, and he looked really good.
Hall. He got 3 bonus points.
Yeah.
We were chatting why this guy has 3 bonus points. Yes.
Well, yeah, and in the game he was like very threatening versus Newcastle.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are some hidden gems.
Yeah, there is probably. Easy Shark says, off topic. Did you guys see Messi is leaving PSG? There has been that rumor, but I don't know where he's going. I wonder if he's going back to Barcelona. I don't know why he's going back to Barcelona, but yeah.
How can they afford a salary?
Exactly. So I don't know whether he's going there or whether he's going to like Saudi. Saudi is the new MLS these days, so everyone's apparently going there.
Ryan, yes. Man United, FPL wise next season.
If we get Kane, right? I'm all over that pick.
He might be. I mean, he got 30 goals in a shit
I know
game.
Exactly. Imagine having Bruno Fernandes and Co. Because Bruno Fernandes' numbers for chance creation are insanely high. People underestimate how high they are.
He has absolutely been robbed to not have more assists.
Yes. So imagine him with Kane in front of him. The numbers are going to be feasting. And Kane is
also
going to be feasting.
What do you think Rashford is priced?
So this season 7, right? I think
he started 6.5, right?
Oh yeah, he started 6.5. Ended up at 7 point something, no?
Yeah.
Probably 8.5.
He was 9 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, 8.5, 9 again. Somewhere. I don't think it'll go too high though.
I think it'll be maybe 8.5.
Yeah,
it'll be 8.5.
Around there. Because Saka was what, 8.5 this season?
7.5. Oh, maybe 8. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think they'll keep it because the FPL seem like they're pricing stuff where casuals can have all the best players they want, kind of thing. So where you can have all the players you like. So I think the pricing will still be somewhat affordable.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's from United. I think Rashford, Kane. If we get Kane, I would love to have Kane in the team because we've seen what he's done with the Spurs team, like you said.
I think he'll have 100% ownership. Everyone will start with Kane and Haaland.
Yeah, exactly. Haaland.
It'll be Thurium.
Price?
It'll be all about the Thurium.
You think it'll be too high or?
I mean, what was he this season? He started
11
12, right?
something, I think.
Okay, 11.5 maybe.
Yeah, 11.5, I think.
I mean, what's the highest starting price we've ever seen on FPL?
I think Van Persie 14, was it 14, 14.5? I don't remember.
He started at 14?
Yeah, I think so.
I expect Haaland to start at 14.
Ooh, yeah, possible.
I don't think they'll go any higher than that.
No, because Salah started this season at 13 something, no? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah. Maybe 13.5 is what I think.
Yeah.
In general, they're pretty conservative with these sort of...
Yeah, that's what. Because Salah started at, I'm having a look right now, 13. Yeah, he started 13. So maybe 13.5, 14, somewhere around that range. I think 13.5
is what I expect.
Sounds like this thing. Here's another question from the chat from Simon. Where is Madison going? Would be a very interesting.
Spurs and Newcastle.
Yeah, he'll be a very.
Rumor says Spurs and Newcastle. I think Spurs could really, really use him. So could Newcastle, but Spurs are in desperate need of that sort of attacking midfielder.
Yeah, and then any other picks?
Because they have 4 or 5 box-to-box mids and.
Who Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Højbjerg and whatnot.
Højbjerg, Bentancur, Bissouma.
Yeah.
They're all sort of 6s or 8s.
Any other type of players you're interested to see next season?
Yeah, so it looks like Man United got Mason Mount.
Yes. But I don't think
that's really interesting.
Do you think he starts?
No.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, Mount has 1 in 3 goal return.
But
his time in Chelsea.
Feels like he'll be a rotation pick with Eriksen.
Yes, but I expect Mount to be first choice.
Yeah.
I think the way he'll play is Casemiro, Bruno, Mount midfield.
Yeah.
And one of Dalot or Shaw will move into midfield or something.
Okay. Slightly.
It could be interesting. Yeah.
Slightly off
As one of the
topic,
eights.
but completely transfer rumor related. Has been rumors about Neymar possibly coming to the Premier League.
How?
I don't know. I don't know what teams. He's been linked with United. He's been linked with City apparently recently. Even Newcastle has been linked with. So
he won't even start at City. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm sure he eventually will, but it doesn't make any sense.
would you get him in FPL though if he was there? In like any of the teams if he came to, maybe a Bath City.
I mean, I'm not that familiar with his output. Like, I know how great he is.
Yeah.
He's somehow, for me, he's somehow still underrated.
Yes, I think people are underrating him. I agree. His output this season was good as well, really good before he got injured. Still end up with double digits on both goals and assists though. But yeah,
I don't know what team he would play for where he would be the talisman.
That's a good point. I don't know. Probably
because
Newcastle. If
Neymar is a talismanic player.
Yeah, we'll see. Depends on what team because it seems like he's leaving PSG, but I don't know where.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know. It might be just be rumors and whatnot. But yeah, yeah, that's basically all I've got for season review. Obviously, fixtures will be released in 2 weeks' time. After the Champions League, like a week after the Champions League, I think. Fixtures for next season, and then you'll obviously start seeing all the fixture plan, fixture tickers out in full force. This is the best week to wildcard and whatnot.
Everyone's trying to call it 3 months early.
Yeah, and then obviously we'll wait for the price rises. So we'll see.
A couple of quick questions.
Yes, go ahead.
How do you expect Liverpool to go?
Ooh. They need to sign midfielders badly, not just McAllister. They need to sign more than McAllister. Because they have Europa League.
McAllister's a very strong start.
Yes, that's a strong start. But they need more. Yeah. They also need another centre back, I feel like. I don't think you can have Konate and Van Dijk alone. And if one of them gets injured, you're screwed, basically.
I think Konate is great.
Yeah.
I think Matip and Van Dijk are pretty done.
Yeah, I feel like so as well. They need to be replaced, to be honest.
So they need a centre back and
maybe 2 more midfielders.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they need some Fabinho cover / replacement as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's also looked off the boil.
Yeah, like Fabinho legs are basically gone. Henderson legs are basically gone. Thiago too injury prone. So they kind of need like 2 more midfielders maybe. Like they basically need a whole new midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you expect them to line up? They have like 5 or 6 quality attackers.
Yes,
so, like,
that's the thing. So I think it looks like Klopp hasn't fully trusted Darwin Núñez. So I have a feeling the front three will still be, you have Diaz on the left, Jota up front, and Salah on the right.
Oh, I actually disagree. I think we'll see Gakpo up front.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about him. So there were points this season where Gakpo played as one of the central midfielders as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's his long-term position. I think his long-term position is like the
upfront striker.
Essentially the Firmino role. Like
okay. Line. Yeah. So then where would Jota play? Is he just off the bench?
Jota off the bench or on the left?
Yeah, that could work.
But I think you're right that Diaz will eventually make that spot his.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But then Núñez plays quite well on the left as well.
So he does. That's the thing. So,
but they are going to be rotation hell next season.
Except for Salah, maybe again.
Except for Salah, but Salah's going to be a 12 mil asset who plays out really wide.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one thing to add for next season's notes. If we see in preseason that that Liverpool continue to play this 3-2 whatever formation, where Salah has been pushed out wide, I feel like this is something even I had to tell myself: don't get Salah if he's pushed out wide in preseason, and if he's too expensive, it's not worth it.
I'm interested in Gakpo if he's
probably him. Yeah. So something to
monitor. And promoted teams, have you thought about it?
Promoted teams, I feel like Luton Town are kind of going to get relegated. I don't think they have the capabilities
they,
to stay.
They don't even have a stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Premier League.
Burnley are that interesting team with company. Now, obviously, they've scored a shitload of goals, and that's mainly due to
broken records.
Yeah. But then we've seen where you've tried to do that position style in the championship and it works, but when you come back to the Premier League, whether that carries over is a different story.
That's a good example is probably Fulham this year. I mean, they did well.
Yeah.
But they didn't play the same style.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So we'll have to see.
They played a much more pragmatic style.
Yeah. So does company switch to a more pragmatic style when it comes in the Premier League? Something to kind of monitor and see. I think they will be the team.
Their best player is Nathan Teller, who's on loan. And he might go somewhere else. So they might lose him.
Yeah. We'll see. Burnley are the interesting team. Who's the other one that's getting promoted? Completely
Burnley, Luton, and I forgot to.
Yeah, I forgot it. But yeah, Burnley are the one that's interesting. But in terms of relegation, I feel like Everton are toying with relegation. That they might get relegated next season.
I mean, I don't think so. I think if Frank Lampard didn't have them at the start of the season, they would have. Honestly, he's the worst manager. He's honestly one of the worst managers I've seen get all the high-profile jobs that he has.
I've got another video that I've just recorded before this. Coming with, we were looking back at our season predictions, and the bashing Lampard gets in that as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, we were accurate though, right?
Yeah,
we didn't say he'd be good. I think everyone thought he'd be shit.
Yeah.
And he was shit.
So I don't know. We'll see. Very interested to see what happens. Oh yeah, Sheffield United. There we go. Zizo says Sheffield is the other team. There we go.
Yeah.
We'll see. This is usually, now we don't do this, but the FPL Wire boys, they do a video in preseason with one of the managers who plays the championship fantasy game. And he has.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so he has some great insights into it. So if anyone wants to watch, that's probably where I'll probably get my info as well. Because I don't have any championship info, to be honest, apart from knowing these are decent teams. But yeah, I mainly do my scouting in preseason, looking at preseason matchups and whatnot. So there will be content upcoming for you guys as well for preseason content. But yeah, so for the moment, probably take a break and then come up with new graphics. Any ideas for content? Let me know in the comments as well. In terms of if you guys want to see something different that might help you, I'm all for it. So yeah. Oh yeah, one more final thing I should add. So I'm doing this a run, City to Surf. And basically as part of this run, so the run is in August. But as part of this run, I signed up for a charity to raise money for a charity, WWF Australia, which is the World Wildlife Federation, if I'm not mistaken.
Fund.
Oh, World Wildlife Fund.
You're thinking of the World Wrestling Federation.
No. World Wildlife Fund, Australia. So basically save the animals. So target was $500. And so far we've reached $150. So thank you to everyone who has donated. I will put the links in the description and maybe in the comments as well if anyone wants to donate for that as well. That race is in August. But yeah.
That's great, man. Good on you.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to, feel free to. But yeah, that's basically all I have. Anything else to add?
One thing.
Yes.
Off field, but Pedro Porro is absolutely straight in my team. He's other than Kane and Haaland, he's number 3 on the.
So Spurs have been linked with Celtics manager, who is Australian / Greek heritage. Yes.
Yeah. He's quite attacking.
Exactly. So he'll be a very interesting manager. Now, obviously, some Spurs fans are against it, but I think he's going to be a good appointment if they do make it. So you're going to get him in. You think Spurs managed to sort their defense?
I don't care. This guy is the most selfish defender I've ever seen.
Fair enough.
I saw multiple in that Leeds game.
Yeah.
There were multiple opportunities where it's like Son or Kane are waiting for a tap in, and he just took a shot from from some crazy angle.
Yeah.
And he, and he's got a strike on him.
Yeah,
he's got a very powerful shot on him.
The one good thing with like Spurs being pretty poor this season is that their prices will be lower, so he might be cheaper compared to what he came in with this season. So it could be straight in your team. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I honestly think it will be.
Yeah, anyway, we'll see. That's interesting. Ruhil, welcome. Ruhil says finish top 1.5 million. Season's over. At this point, we're looking forward to next season and getting you all in that top 100k or even beating your previous records. So
just delete your team.
Exactly. No, whatever you do, do not go and delete your team like certain other people. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Own your rank. But yeah, that's basically all we had to say. So we'll end it with that. So thank you to everyone who joined: Zizo, Simonel, Ezra, Ruhil, and obviously at the start, Rokugu and Tin as well. So thank you to everyone, and congrats to the top 10 of the YouTube football.com/Football Chatbox Mini League. We will be back with content. Probably not. There'll be a video coming out tomorrow. But apart from that, we'll do our content again 2 weeks later, maybe, once the fixture's out, and then slowly with new graphics and new ideas. Let me know if you'll have any ideas of content you want to see for the next part of the season. But yeah, that's basically it. We'll come up with some ideas as well that we can think of in terms of how to spice things up for next season. And said all of that, thank you all for watching.
I can't wait.
Indeed. And hopefully for better seasons next time. Top 10k, here we go. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you all for watching. We'll see you all later. Peace out, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock. I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step